Hey, what's going on, everybody? And thanks for joining us again. We're kicking off another day of Sunday football. You know, I'm wearing my Chubb jersey because Doug and I are going to go suffer at a Browns game. I was intending on wearing my Free Miles shirt today. This is a throwback shirt from when Miles stole a Steelers helmet and smashed another player on the head with it. Yeah. Then he was suspended indefinitely, and then all this fun merch, Free Miles came out, and Miles is out here, and I've kept a steady trend through the whole tail end of this season. Let the guy go get his. We've screwed it up. Our franchise is poisoned. Let him go get his. I have been in full support of you, Myles Garrett, going out and getting yours. You've given us all that you could give us, and now you're at the end, and you gotta squeeze the rag for everything you can drip it of. I get it. It's when you go and say you conferred with LeBron James that I need to get the hell out. Now I hate you. Now the whole fun Free Miles thing, double bird. Go. Get the F out of here. I hate you. Let's kick it off. So we had the Christmas episodes, Netflix. They stepped up their game.
Oh, it was great.
I was worried with the Tyson fight. Yeah. They really botched that. And I'm they probably invested for the last month and a half just buy warehouses, more servers. We have one last shot at a live event, or we will never be able to develop into this market.
You know, during the Tyson fight, they were calling Roger Goodell, and he was letting it go to like 3 rings.
I promise. We will have this figured out. We're not going to mess this up.
You want to know? But no, Netflix did a fantastic job. You want to know what's strange, though? I am watching it, right? And it's like you're watching, I had like that revelation, right? Like you're watching a sporting event on Netflix, a live event, and it would cut to commercials. And I'm thinking in my head, like, that's why I bought Netflix, for cable.
You know what's funny, though? You know what's funny? They start, like it didn't matter what time you started the program. When you hit watch live, it gave a disclaimer. So you can't sue us. Like, we know the exchange here with Netflix is no commercials. They're like, this is a special broadcast where the contractual agreement for no commercials does not apply or something.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't notice that. See, I just had it on the whole time. I never turned it off.
The legal nerd in me. So I was like,
Really? That's interesting. I didn't even see like anybody posting about that.
It was just a quick little.
I put it on, right? And Netflix did a smart thing. It didn't have you like say the Pittsburgh game ended, Pittsburgh-Baltimore game ended, or whichever game was on first. It just immediately went to the next game. Like you didn't have to click out and go to the other event, which is smart by them. I never noticed
even
that.
Like the Sunday football ticket, you have to do that.
Right.
You have to
you have to go out into the game. Yeah. So no, Netflix did a great job. You had the halftime performances, so I checked out for those. I went and did my own thing.
Another Diddy White party.
I know. I was thinking that too. I was like, this is so
Take the hint, read the room.
This is ridiculous. Like I was like, I couldn't care. Like I was getting so frustrated too, because then by the second game, I'm watching at my parents, and theirs is like they have the Netflix app, and then it's a Samsung TV, so you get out and you go to like their actual cable, which the games weren't on, but I was going. Then I would actually check in on like the NBA, which we can get into the viewership disparity there, but I kept going back, and it was just Beyonce. I was like, "Son of a bitch, got the football game. I don't give it felt like an elongated,
hold on. Speaking of Beyonce, so both Christmas games, total stinkers.
Yeah, they weren't good games.
I thought they had the potential to be great games. Total stinkers.
Good slots with good teams, just not good results.
Right.
Side.
One of the fun things to come from the Ravens game, though, there's a little bit of chitter chatter between Lamar, Harbaugh, and just some humming for the Beehive because Beyonce is going to be performing at the halftime.
Disappointing that she's going to be performing at a halftime show that you can't watch?
Nah, because I'm going to go out there and watch. Yeah. I'm going to go out there and watch, man. My first time seeing Beyonce perform, and it's at our game. That's dope. I'm going to go out and watch. Sorry, Harbaugh. Sorry,
Harbaugh.
guys have one?
Nah, man, I'm not even thinking about the lead. I was just thinking about just seeing Beyonce for the first time.
Wasn't there a time when somebody was out like peeking outside the locker room door to Super Bowl or something like that? Was there some?
I was
story
just
on
thinking about
Was
that.
it the Bengals kicker? He got in trouble
Bengals
for it.
kicker.
Yeah, there'll be trouble. There'll be big trouble. I like Beyonce though. I can't say I'm a huge Beyonce fan, but I think I like her.
They'd be big trouble. So, of course, everybody's like,
Is he
hey,
gonna-
Lamar.
No.
Lamar, did you sneak out? No, damn it. He's a competitor.
No.
Beyonce? See Beyonce? Nah, I was locked in. See, that was just for y'all. See, y'all. See, no, I was in here in the locker room preparing for the second half.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, it was good on Netflix. It actually made me optimistic for them to do it in the future. All the corporate stuff aside, because it's like, hey, it's another avenue for more. Especially like I'd like to get into the viewership thing because your best friend LeBron James said Christmas is the NBA's day, and all it took was one day of the NFL being on Christmas to just bury
Humble them.
that league. And it's so funny. It was just 2 games. You have a whole NBA slate. Didn't care. They averaged like 5 million viewers, and the NFL was like 25 million.
Right.
Like it was like a ridiculous disparity in numbers. So, yeah, I mean, good on them. The games weren't that competitive, but you know, they picked good teams to play on
Right.
that day. The results
You
of the
couldn't
game,
have
you have
predicted
no, you know, like at the start of the year, the Netflix, we're going to have Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Baltimore, and I forget the 4th team, all 4 playoff teams playing.
Right.
That's great. That's great. That's what you want. You don't want to see like Jacksonville playing New York.
Well, at the same time, nobody was going to predict CJ Stroud and Texas to just lay an egg.
You
So,
scored 2 points.
I want to talk a little bit about that game. Did you see a little bit of the spice that happened before the game?
Yes. With
Oh
the
my
punting,
God.
The punter.
We
Yeah.
we had a brawl between Joe Mixon and the punting crew of the other team.
An assistant coach for the Texans was hit by an errant punt by the
Bolt.
Raiders. Mixon punts it up into the stands. You see Mixon now going after the punter, and then Josh Johnson, the backup quarterback, steps in. Mixon was separated again, pushed back several times.
Which is crazy.
I just see all that barking and you didn't even score 1 offensive point. You scored a safety. You got 2 points. Not even an offensive drive. Couldn't even get in field goal range, get a kick. Nah.
They got
Right.
that safety early on too.
Oh,
So
it was
I was
right
like,
away.
oh, this is going to be an interesting game.
It was like
Nope.
10-2 at that point.
Yeah.
Like it was real quick and early. You're like, all right, maybe they'll kind of jumpstart them there. Nope. Barking at a punter. 2 points.
Barking at a punter. Well, here's why I could say I appreciate you making that point. They did nothing on offense, totally deflated. And some would say this is the sophomore slump, right?
It is.
Like
He is having a
CJ's
sophomore
just
slump.
having a rough year. But you know, this is coincidence or guiding,
Oh, I know where this is going.
dictating fact.
I know where this is going.
Somebody wants, people are starting to question, is there, because this is all going to also transition to Browns quarterback news, right? Because we restructured Deshaun's contract to have some wiggle room with the giant weight vest we're running with. So nobody wants to question if it's a coincidence that when CJ Stroud switches to Deshaun Watson's quarterback coach, he becomes trash. And we're not just saying like, oh, Deshaun sucks, and now he's just learning how to suck from the same source. Nope. This is I'm more of the greater point here is who their quarterback coach is. This is somebody who calls into question and picks Twitter fights with Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer, somewhere your rapist quarterback client will not end up. But let's literally just picking fights with and it just comes off as ghetto, ignorant. It's trash.
Yeah. It just like you're a professional trying to build up and be a role model and get other role models. And again, I do view CJ Stroud as a role model
Yes.
in the NFL. Like he's
Class.
a very classy, religious kind of follower. And he's not having a god awful year, but his rookie year to this year, you have seen a decline. Like you said, sophomore
time.
slump completely caught that contagious virus. It's really affected him this year.
Wait, what's the virus? Is Is this the virus? I don't know if you saw.
Well, I don't know how to.
Posted hot and new this
I
week.
love you, but if the shit you got going on around you could cause harm to me or it's disruptive to my peace, I'm gonna have to let you go do that. Cause I'm
He's
over
in
here
Browns gear doing that.
and I love you enough to tell you the truth.
Bro, he's talking to us.
No, he's not.
I'm gonna let you.
Supposedly,
Y'all are toxic. I'm gonna let you go be toxic.
No.
without me,
Supposedly, the rumor is it's because he and his girlfriend broke up. That's why that was posted.
yo. Hey!
And that made it worse. I was like, make it about us. I wanted to literally
Why
be
is
about.
everything with this man about his wiener? Everything is about. You're so horny. Stop being so horny. It's gross. I log in on Sundays for football, not who you're shacking up with.
Welcome back to the Alexander Football Podcast. But no, speaking of his quarterback coach, did you see it was like a year ago, I think. It was when Deshaun was still playing and he was looking awful. It was before his injury. And no, not Drew Brees. Former Brown quarterback Brady Quinn made a comment about him, calling him. He's like, he's a trust fund baby. And you had his quarterback coach go in at Brady Quinn.
Dude.
And Brady Quinn was like, hey man, I'd be happy to if you want to come on, we can talk about it. And the quarterback coach was so like, man, fuck you. I ain't doing none of that. And Brady Quinn was essentially like, and you're not really teaching him quarterbacks either. So I don't know what to say. It's so funny that he's now got again, Brady Quinn, obviously not a Hall of Fame quarterback, but a guy who, is
Still a class act with a great professional career.
Exactly. He's kept it classy. He's never crapped on Cleveland since he left. It just didn't work out for him. And then you have Kurt Warner, which has, to this day, one of the cooler NFL stories in history.
Yeah.
A Canadian football player comes over to the NFL, has a Hall of Fame career. That's what the Canadian Football League's for. And you're going to go after him. And it's so buddy, what do you do? CJ, I would.
What are you thinking? That's where I'm
You
at.
want to know truly what the connection is? Probably Houston. Right.
Why do you say that?
He's the Houston quarterback. I'm sure the organization is like, hey, this guy's in the area. He could coach you for cheaper. I'm sure there's some contract with the organization to where, again, remember Brady had his TB12 thing that always got into an issue with Belichick. They wanted him to go through the organization's kind of therapy.
Right.
Physical therapy thing. And instead he went through that. I'm sure. Because it's what's the link there? Houston. It's got to be Houston. That's what I truly think it is, So his first year,
I thought it was idolization. This guy's got it figured out.
No. I don't. I definitely think he's not thinking that now. So I don't know because I want to give CJ the benefit of the doubt because I do view him as this is a guy who really is a role model, just having an off year. Obviously, we don't view Deshaun in the same light as that, so it's maybe cut ties with that coaching. I don't know.
Texas.
Yeah.
Even
if it's not
reevaluate.
Texas, CJ.
Who does this guy know within the organization to
That's what I mean.
He's too good.
That's what I mean.
He's out there fighting with Brady Quinn and Kurt Warner. Get to world star, and they're give him a raise.
That's what I mean. So if I were to make a connection there, that's got to be what it is. It's got to be what it is because it's I can't name of another NFL quarterback that this guy's coaching.
Right?
Maybe he is, but the only two I know of both played for Houston. One's dog shit, and one is you're
becoming.
Your stock is declining, dude, and I don't want it to for you. I want you to
was
figure it
rooting
out.
for him. Here's what's funny. We supported and kicked off the Sunday football show because, I'm always tinkering on a Sunday morning, getting ready for my fantasy league, and it would be a fun little background show to listen to as you get prepped. I failed this year. This year was utter just failure after failure, starting off with picking Tyreek Hill first. Whoa. Put your head in a bear trap. Just then a couple picks later, it's quarterback time. And I just saw nothing but gleaming potential in CJ Stroud.
Me too. I did it in the league too.
Big dumb right here. Big dumb. Then I get Baker at the end. Might as well get a second.
You'll be
string
good in the
quarterback.
bye week.
Never took him out.
Yep.
I played CJ, I think, first week, maybe second week, and then it was like never again.
It's funny you bring up now the fantasy because I had this thought. Like I said, before the show, I was talking to Doug and Alex, and I'm like, I'm in a fatigue this year. I've officially hit the fatigue point, and there's 3 core principles that are doing it. One, the Browns. All 3 of us can relate to that. As a Browns fan, that fatigue just hits you. You just stare into that void going like, darkness, you're back. 2, fantasy. This is easily the worst year of fantasy I've had by far. Much like you, I've had a lot of picks where before the year, bright, gleaming potential. All of them were gems, and they're all dog dick. Awful. McCaffrey, what happened? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I knew that was happening. What's funny is we had a basement full of like 15 guys picking fantasy teams, and I'm like, he's gonna get hurt.
And the worst part is too, when I picked him in one league, in the other league, number 1 pick, I had it, McCaffrey. I picked like 5th, and he dropped a 5, and I was like, gold, boom. That backfired. So then my 3rd, and this is a recent one. Betting on football is just like stressing me out.
Why? Is it because you have to chug an ice again today?
I was sitting in my apartment before I came over, listening to the morning show, open up the sports book, and like it's like that image of Zach Galifianakis from The Hangover where he's running the equations in his head, and none of them were equaling out. And I'm like, I don't know who to pick. I don't have an idea. Every other week, I felt so good doing this. And now I'm like, there's so much football.
Dude,
so
who would have thought we were drinking on that Mike Evans pick?
I didn't.
That's why we're here.
Like, that's what I mean. Like, I've officially hit that point of the year, and there's still so much football. We haven't even hit the second round of the college football playoff, and I'm like, there's more football. I was sweating out Denver team total last night on Bo Nix on a Hail Mary throw. That's what my life has devolved into. And like I said, number 1 is still the Browns, so I blame them for everything. I have no reason to. Like, I should accept this by now. I'm a 30-year vet. Still stressed. God, I
Free
love this shoe. You know what the best part is, too? You brought up, like, LeBron. He talked to LeBron. I didn't even know that. The instant you said that, I was like, oh, this is going to be a fun show. This is the
Dude,
best show.
we left the comedy show last night. My dad and my mom were talking about that. And he goes, yeah. Did you see who he said he got his advice from? And I'm like, no, he didn't.
No.
Leave.
I just know the instant
With his Twitter, I was like, get the
I know the instant he said LeBron James, you were staring forward and you stared out the window like longingly, just in pain,
Longingly.
just like,
oh yeah, take it from
The
the
thought.
authority on the matter.
the thoughts running through this man's head. Like the feud this man has with LeBron James is decades long now at this point, I think.
And you know what? Take his advice. Hit the road, Jack.
And I wish you wore that shirt.
Yeah. No, don't free him. No.
You should have. Oh my god. You should have put the shirt on and got tape over it and said Jail Miles.
Lock him down. Make him die here with us.
Yeah. No, hey, this is our rebranding. Now we're gonna sign you longer.
Pivot.
I did see a report too. They brought up like it was like being talked about on SportsCenter today. Browns' potential future quarterbacks, and we had a very friendly, familiar name that we love on this podcast, and it's a quarterback out of New York. You might make that connection. It's not the Giants quarterback. Let me tell you that one.
You sent me a clip today of 2 girls on a podcast
I
talking about Aaron Rodgers' like documentary. They're manlier than Aaron Rodgers after hearing that dialogue where they're just like, it's just a grown man crying over his own mortality. Like, get a grip.
The best was you're like, being a contrarian isn't a personality trait.
Yeah,
But I'm like laughing. I was like, yeah, that's his career.
Yeah, no, that's his that's what he's become. Totally. Anyway,
Yeah.
we need to bring it back to
back.
the playoff battle. So we now have some teams that have wholeheartedly clinched the playoffs. And, you know, hats off to like the Chiefs, the Lions, the Bills. Those are teams that have truly dominated the the league this year. Teams like the Eagles, the Ravens, the Vikings, they've hung on and truly earned their place to solidify their postseason. However, kudos to the Chiefs more than anything, but the Chiefs, the Lions, and the Bills. The Eagles are up there with them, but the Eagles, it was skin of the teeth every time, if anything. I think the Bills, the Lions, and the Chiefs put out a masterclass this year. I'm shocked the Texans are in a place where they can just sleep comfortably knowing they got it.
It's just a bad division.
Yeah.
That's the fortune. For as much of a sophomore slump as we talked CJ's having, like, they are in a bad division, and it does help them in their favor.
I say that of the Ravens, but looking at the Steelers, they get shortchanged in this dialogue because we have such a competitive division most of the time, not this year. But, you know, the Steelers also had one hell of a season, close to that of the Packers. You're looking at two teams that were just solid.
Well, look at the
rock hard.
Look at the seeding right now. I mean, if it was you're only seeing the top and you don't have, I think the AFC, there's still one more spot. I think the NFC, obviously, there's 3 open spots. But I mean, as of right now, like first round, you'd have what? Pittsburgh going up against Houston. That's a pretty decent game.
Can you move over too? Because you're
sorry,
cut off. No, you're good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good look right now for these teams. So the AFC look right now is going to come down to Denver and Cincinnati next week. That'll be fun, which is great for last night. That's what made it so dramatic. And now you got in the NFC. I don't know, like what's the bubble looking like right there? I don't know.
Yeah, let's get to the bubble. But also, seriously, move over like closer to South America there.
Oh,
like physically move your chair. I don't know if you could see yourself, but you are literally half out of the frame.
That's perfect, Will.
Perfect. All right. Looking at the bubble. Looking at the bubble, I think this is where, first, the hunt. This is where we're going to have some good games today. The Rams are expected to dominate.
Who do they play?
But, well, we'll get to the review. But, yeah, I guess we could take a quick look.
Well,
I'm
surprised it doesn't say right there.
Right.
Either.
Well, wait. Actually, I think it does look like
say
small.
right underneath that they're playing
Yeah, the
Arizona.
Cardinals.
Okay.
Wait, I thought we already had that.
So
game.
they won last night.
Yeah,
they won.
I was going to say, Falcons and the Commanders are going to be a great game to watch today.
I think that's the 8:20 game tonight.
Yes. And again, everything is on the line in that game. And kudos to the Broncos for hanging in there in one hell of a game. Now, like Will was saying, getting to the bubble against the Bengals. The Bengals did a great job keeping themselves relevant this season in regards to this last game.
It's crazy that they're
Yeah.
Honestly, it's going to come down to the last week. And I'm going to say it right now. If they somehow sneak into the playoffs, Cincinnati, Denver loses next week, Cincinnati wins. I am fully on board with giving Joe Burrow the MVP. Fully on board with giving him the vote for the MVP. They had a stat, and I think he's done 8 games in a row where he's had 3 passing touchdowns, no interceptions. And I think that's like close to the NFL record. Like, absolutely, like, your back is completely at the wall in what, week 8? You gotta like win. You can only maybe afford what, 1 or 2 losses at most.
Right.
Just balled out. It has been balling out
with no defense.
Yeah, I mean, that's the crazy thing.
You're looking at a team with 0 defense.
Yeah, 0 defense, and you're constantly throwing 400 yards a game, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Jamar Chase might be the Triple Crown winner this year. You know, I think he's leading in all 3 categories right now.
You know, but looking at the teams within this bubble, right?
Yeah.
Seahawks belong there. Buccaneers, one hell of a season. Keep the fight up. They probably will find themselves there. Colts, you know, for a moderate season, they did damn good. The fact that the Dolphins are even in this conversation is mind-blowing to me.
The Colts and the Colts, I'm going to give more credit to because they've constantly bounced back from who's core. I have no idea who their quarterback is at any given week. Not a clue. I guess you could say the same for Miami, but Miami just has seemed so weak all year. Like, they're what, 6-8?
Yeah,
like,
it feels like it's a team just duct taped together.
Yeah. The Buccaneers, you know, it's going to come down really close with Atlanta. I mean, essentially, whichever team. I mean, if Tampa Bay loses tonight and Atlanta wins, they're out. Like, they're out of the playoffs. They're not even making it in the wild card. Like, whichever team wins that division will be the playoff team. It won't be the other way around. Like I highly doubt one of the two would get a wild card spot
Right.
because the NFC is just that tough right now.
No, it's gonna be a fun fight here in this last week. And now there's the totally eliminated, and there we are with everybody else.
Well, now you're looking at the NFL draft,
Yeah.
like lineup. Like we probably got like what the 6th or 7th pick right now.
I think we're 5th, right?
8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
No, but
7.
we have a worse record than the Panthers.
Yeah,
and
no,
the
you
Bears.
gotta go off the record. Unfortunately,
So
you won't
we're,
really
like,
be able to
5th,
tell
I
much from
think.
there.
We'd be 5th
Yeah, I think Doug's right. I think we are 5th.
because there's 16,
Wait.
then the Patriots, the Titans. The
Why
Jaguars,
why
and us.
are the
It-
Saints 13?
It's going by seeding in the conference, not in
Gotcha.
the draft. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, hey, that's what we're here for. Next year, as always. Now, let's just do a quick review as we get into this next week. Wednesday kicked off the season. I love having a week where football starts on a Wednesday.
Dude,
I
I'm
mean,
telling you, that's what I was saying. This time of year, it's like any given day right now, there's a football game on.
yes,
Like
with college
any
football.
different day.
You know, I think I got it on right here, but
Big
I got
win.
my undershirt for
Big-
this is my Miami won the Snoop Dogg Bowl, baby.
They didn't just
Woo!
win; they won handedly.
Yeah, they
The
dominated.
Red Hawks, baby. A great, honestly, great year by the MAC and bowl games. I think the only
Yes.
team that didn't win was Bowling Green, and
yeah,
they were like,
my dad was mad about that.
but they were like a big underdog. Like I didn't think that one, but like Toledo, what a great win by them.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of solid out of the MACtion.
That's right.
And if you're in the Midwest, you love your MACtion.
Oh, we love our action.
Unless you're Kent State. It's a rough year for Kent State. I don't think they won a game.
Nobody's rooting for Kent State. All right. Chiefs, Steelers. I was surprised that there wasn't more tension and competition here, but
That looked like a vintage Pat Mahomes game from like the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Whereas kind of off he's been this year, even with their record, which is incredible. But them being so dominant over Pittsburgh, I can't tell if Pittsburgh's just going to have a rough time in the playoffs.
So looking at the Ravens Texans, we've got again, we've exhausted that game. Cannot believe all they got was a safety.
In like the first quarter.
Yeah.
And you fought the punter of the other team. You know, like this is Chris. 25 million people saw that.
Yeah.
Good job. Good soup.
Good. Then there was people making bank on Thursday. You'd be surprised how many people bet no touchdowns to be scored in this game. And the payout was huge. Caleb Williams needs to
Oh, right.
sew his mouth shut now.
Nah, let him talk. Let him talk. I don't care anymore. Like him constantly saying how used to losing they are. He's like, I don't get it. I'm not losing it. Well, buckle up, buddy. It's not getting better. Not with that attitude. Like it's so like you are the leader of the team and you're like, I don't get it. Why is this happening to me? With his bedazzled nails. Like it makes no sense. It doesn't. I kind of saw you like I see Shedeur Sanders having the same issue in a year from now in New York.
I bet.
100%.
Daddy, fix this.
I wonder if they're going to fire their coach too and hire him as a head coach.
I think so.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. But let's keep it back on Caleb.
Yeah.
Because he is now up there with Aaron Rodgers. And like, we got beef.
Delusional. Yeah.
We got beef. Oh, he should do some ayahuasca. Give him the Netflix special now. Like, honestly.
Netflix just gets into the business of ayahuasca specials.
Dude, they're gonna have those two girls on a podcast a year from now and be like, yeah, we saw the Caleb Williams Netflix special. And once again, now it's
He's even more of a sissy.
now once again, a 24-year-old man realizing his own mortality. Crazy. Like it's like, oh my God. Yeah, really. It's the total opposite kind of reaction we have with Caleb to like say CJ Stroud, who's having a rough year on his own. Sure, they're a playoff team, but it's like you see CJ, who's very much a class act on off the field. His players get hurt and you see the emotion kind of go through his face. Like These are the
Oh,
guys
yeah.
he works with every day. Really has a great relationship with them. He wants the best for not only himself, but the team. The team comes before him. You don't really get that with Caleb.
No.
And it's painful watching it because it's like, come on, man. Like, you were the number 1 pick last year. And now I almost see it, knock on wood. Hey, I pray it doesn't happen for Shadur. Go to New York, turn him around. But it's like this attitude thing, wearing like these Rolexes during these games and being like, what are you doing? You went out there and got handled by Brigham Young.
Right.
You know, and it's like with Caleb, it's 6-3 in Seattle's game. Like Seattle, you get the win. You're still in the bubble. You're still fighting for a playoff spot. And you know, they got to work Monday and were like 6 points against Chicago. They only scored 3. Sure. Obviously, look at them. They're dysfunctional as hell. Their quarterback is blaming them for this losing culture that he was brought in to fix. It's disheartening to look because it's like, now I'm tired. Like I jokingly say, like, let him keep talking, but it's like at the same time, take the camera off of him.
Yes.
Because he's just burying himself a bigger hole and week in, week
Focus on ball.
Yeah, focus on Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix. These 2 quarterbacks who are competing for a playoff spot right now, playing very well, that weren't getting much recognition before the season. You know, Denver lost last night, but Bo Nix had a good game.
Oh, boy, did he.
Jaden Daniels fighting for a playoff spot tonight, you know, like, and instead every week I'm hearing Caleb Williams. I see more of your post-game interviews looking and saying ridiculous stuff than your on-field.
Yeah, you have no highlights.
No.
You have
no
none.
highlights, and you're blaming the losing call. I don't get it.
In fact, your highlights from gameplay are you throwing temper tantrums on the sidelines or on the field after you get hit. So let's move on.
Yeah.
We're over-exhausting a Bears game. Patriots and the Chargers. Wow, did the Chargers wallop the Patriots? But, you know, they needed to win. Like, that was, if they would have even competed, it would have been pathetic, but I didn't think they'd score that high. Broncos and Bengals brought us probably the best game of the week. Going into overtime, that was so fun. Did not think the Chargers or the Broncos were going to be able to answer in the end there with a touchdown, taking it to overtime. One hell of a drive. And, you know, here's what's funny about that game. You can take the kicker out of Cleveland, but you can't take the Cleveland out of the kicker. And when we say he sucks, don't go pick him up, because the Bengals almost were humbled with a Cleveland experience with a shank that hits the uprights and is a total miss. And I love the way their offense approaches the overtime, where it's, we are not putting any chance in that kicker.
We are not taking the ball out of Joe's hands right now.
Nope.
Joe, win us this football game. It's funny. I couldn't have worded it better myself. And you're already seeing it with our current kicker this year, because last year, funny enough, it was like this time last year we clinched a playoff spot.
I feel like our scouting team for special teams, especially the kicking side of things, I think is a co-opted Steelers person.
A spy, a double agent.
I mean, I think they saw what Phil Dawson brought us, and they're like, all right, this dude is winning every game for them. So kind of like how Russia does with like citizens, they implanted a Steelers person that was just an intern,
A sleeper agent.
and they worked their way up. Because this is like 50th kicker since Phil Dawson, where it's like,
If he's
we get, all right, we're going to get in our draft one of the highest kickers ever. We pick him. Yeah, I'm really good. You should see me. I'm 60 yards in practice, but I get nervous.
I'm shy. You know, it's great. It's like, I love the idea of like a sleeper agent. It's like, I wonder what his trigger word is, you know?
Winning.
Damn.
The instant he's in there and he hears the word tank, he's like, bring it on. Bring it on. We're bringing it up again.
So kudos to the Bengals. You know,
Winning.
the Broncos are still in the hunt for it, so it didn't cripple them, and it only kept the Bengals in the fight. So that was one hell of a game, probably the best of the week. I was shocked that the Cardinals and Rams game was so low scoring, but I was excited to see a good, solid game. I mean, good defense, Didn't really go much beyond that, but it was solid ball. Now, kicking off today, starting with the 1 o'clock games, Colts need to win, and they're going to walk right through this one. Do you have anything you want to say on that one?
I think it's a little stinky.
That one's
Anthony Richardson's I know isn't the quarterback, so maybe it's Flacco. Maybe.
Ew.
I don't know. Like I haven't seen who's the replacement. I got to give the edge to the Colts because I have no idea who the Giants quarterback is.
Hey, speaking of New York teams, the Bills and the Jets.
I'm gonna go with the Bills. I'm feeling pretty good about the Bills here.
At what point does embarrassment settle in? Like Aaron Rodgers,
Why did he put that documentary out during the season?
That's what I mean. Like, the timing's off. Like, dude, your head is just not here with the team.
This is why when I would say to people, I'm like, you should have retired. Like, your head is clearly not all in on this. Like, you have Garrett Wilson, great receiver. He's like, I want out.
Dude, how can you expect him to have his head here when he thinks a shadow man is chasing him everywhere he goes?
Dude, he sees 11 of them on the defense every game. 11 of them at a time. And he's throwing for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns in a 4-11 team.
That is atrocious. That statistic right there. 170 yards.
I'm telling you, if you look at his stats this year, like it's very, and again, he's an aging quarterback. Like, I'm not gonna hold the age against him. It like if all of his other stuff aside,
you won't hold the age against him as he holds Brett Favre's age against him.
But it's one of those. It's like Father Time catches up to all of us. I would forgive you if I didn't hear about the Shadow Man so often. Like, come on, dude. It's not a Shadow Man. It's the Bills defense. It makes no sense. Just those two girls saying, yeah, it's just a grown man realizing his own mortality. Nailed it. That's him, man. He figured it out late, I guess.
Late.
All right, continue.
Titans, Jaguars.
Stinker. We got a stinky in Jacksonville.
This one's terrible. I don't even care who wins.
I actually saw the line on it, and the spread was like -1+1. They have no idea.
Yeah,
they're like, who cares?
No one's looking
Just
at
bet
this
on the
game.
money line. Who cares?
Yeah, no one's looking at this game. Raiders, Saints.
Another in New Orleans. Katrina came back today. He's rolling right through that spot.
As we were preparing for our Sunday, tomorrow we have our live show on the Rethink Tank. So we're talking about Nosferatu. We got to go see this movie. We had our Sunday morning shows. Doug and I are going to this game, and then we're going to the movie, and we're trying to fit all the pieces together, and it only worked because we're the 4 o'clock game.
Yeah.
It should settle in to us. Why would we be the 4 o'clock game? Because we just ripped through 5 stinkies.
And it's just, I was thinking that too. I was like, this is how smart the NFL was. They predicted how these teams would be at this point of the season because they're like, Christmas, these teams.
Yep.
1 o'clock slate on Sunday, these teams. 4 o'clock, give it to Cleveland. Like,
throw them a bone.
Throw them a bone. Why not? Hey,
Miami's got to win.
Miami's got to win, and Cleveland, they just turn on a podcast. They don't care.
You might get a blizzard.
You might get a blizzard. It's 50 degrees and rainy.
Yeah. It's the end of December, turning into January. I was playing golf yesterday.
It is so. I'm telling you, the football fatigue is hit so hard. Like you said, we're seeing this movie. That is the thing I'm looking forward to the most today.
Yeah.
And a day full of football.
Yeah. Well, football.
Football.
I'm looking forward to going to the game, though.
Doug, I honestly hope you have a really great time at this game, too. I honestly do. I like you guys got great
the
seats.
selling point was Dad does not want to go. Uncle does not want to go. Hey, Dad, you know who would really actually, out of all the people that would I literally said this in my dad's office. All of us, out of all of the people that would reluctantly go, Doug would truly appreciate it.
Yeah.
He's like, I like that.
Dude, if you called me, I would have. Dude, if you asked me, I'd have been like, all right, maybe I got nothing else going on. You were like, yeah, Doug's going. I'm like,
dude, Doug, you want to go? Woo!
Dude, kid in a candy store behind the computer right now. Like, Doug, I really do. I hope you have a great time. Get yourself a beer or two.
Oh, I plan to. I
Atta
have to buy Alex
boy.
one too. For
It
I
is
hope
gonna
they
be
got
dry.
Bumbleberry, dude.
Every game Doug goes to, he's in the elements. Now he's going to be nice and warm
Oh,
from the clubs, just waving
He's
at
gonna
all
wear
his friends.
shorts.
Yeah,
He's so hyped.
he's in a Hawaiian shirt. Who's here for the Cleveland party? All right.
I mean, I'm usually close to God, up in the nosebleeds, getting just drenched or snow covered. So this will be a nice
Your
change.
dad
of
does have
pace.
nice seats. You get a great view. You're like right on the 50.
You
like,
know what
really
my
do.
dad kept saying? He goes, tell Doug that for all seats between the 45 yard markers, you have to wear a suit. I'm like, he goes, did you tell him? I go, no, I didn't tell him.
No.
Then when I see Doug, I'm like, hey, Doug, my dad says you got to wear a suit. Doug's, I don't have a suit.
No, I don't have a brown suit. Yeah, I mean, if I had a brown suit, sure.
It honestly, wear the suit.
Wear the suit.
Wear the suit. Didn't show up to the movie theater in the suit.
I'm not going home at this
Doug
point.
shows up to Valley View movie theater.
One ticket for Nosferatu, please.
All right. So we jumped the gun on the 4 o'clock games because I just wanted to emphasize that's the only reason we're there, why we're there, because we've just got a line of stinkers. Buccaneers should just trample the Panthers, and they need to keep up in the run. And then the Eagles are just going to walk across the Cowboys. And even if they don't, it means nothing.
What's funny is it means nothing and it's a rivalry game. So you know
Yeah.
they're going to want to stomp them.
Right.
You know, like
Yes.
it's a nothing game.
Great point.
Yeah.
But you know what? I got to give a little bit of kudos to the Cowboys. These last couple weeks, they've shown to be a
Hell.
greater force than we've made them out to be.
Hell, they
This
beat
won't
Tampa.
be easy for the Eagles.
Yeah, they beat Tampa last week.
Yeah.
Put their season in jeopardy with that win.
That was huge.
Yeah.
That was huge. Miami should beat us. Miles, get going. Packers are the other 4 o'clock game.
Packers Vikings playoff game.
This is huge. This is huge, but also it means nothing in terms of where
Making-
these teams end up, but it'll be a good reflection or peek into what we can expect into the postseason.
I'm curious how it would affect the seeding if whoever loses. You know,
Yeah, good point.
I'm
Point.
curious.
Oh, I forgot to zoom in. That would have
But
been good.
I maybe that's for the division. Is Minnesota in that division? No, they're in the Lions division.
Right.
So yeah, I mean that's a game to keep an eye on.
Regardless, it'll be a fun game to watch. And this is going to be the biggest one of the week, I think. Tonight's game at 8 o'clock, Falcons Commanders.
Yeah.
We're going to be watching German 1900 Vampires instead, but be sure to tune in, Nosferatu, because be sure to tune into this game because this will probably be the hottest game of the
Why
week.
watch football when you can watch horny vampire kids? Nice.
In terms of predictions, I really don't have one. This is going to be a big game. I think the Commanders are the better team and the Falcons can lose it, but both teams have the ability to take the lead.
I'm going to give it to Washington. Michael Penix in his second start. You're playing Jaden Daniels, who's played all year. They've been a team with better rhythm. They have been playing better as of late. But again, it's a toss-up game. Like it could very well be a toss-up game, but I'm going to give the edge to Washington there.
Yeah. And finally, Monday's game, Lions and 49ers. This is going to be a nothing game. Lions should trample them. Even if they don't, doesn't matter. What?
I said Lions, baby.
Doug's becoming a Lions fan.
Well, I got golf and fantasy, so I need him to do good.
Yeah, unfortunately, San Francisco, I mean, they're already out of it. So you're just sort of playing for pride at that point. I'm going to give it to
At least
Detroit,
somebody can have pride here in the NFL. Not all of us know what that feels like. Let's wrap this episode up. We've got our parlay picks of the week. We're trying to make you money. Get in on it. And, it's as the stock's climbing, get in low and sell high. We've got money for you. Doug's the only one that hit this week. So
we got to stop with the $10 ones because whenever we win the 5 and then we do the 10 and you and I lose.
yeah. And Doug's
Like
just
routinely.
like, oh, man, guess you guys got a drink.
I can't wait until you start putting money on this. You won't find
That'll
it as,
never happen.
You won't find it as funny, Doug.
I mean, at least I seem to win.
So let's review last week why Will and I got a drink. That's right. We've got the Josh Allen literally missed it by like 5 yards. That was
I know.
gut wrenching. And I'm literally watching the game just like, please, just one more pass. Just one more. And who would have thought Mike Evans was not going to? I mean, again, Cowboys stole it from the Buccaneers, like you said. That is not how I anticipated that game to go.
Nope. I don't think they did either.
Nope. So this week, let's pay our dues before we get into this week's pick.
Gotta pay that troll toll.
I'm standing. I need a straight down path.
Doing well, guys. Doing well. God's work here. Man, Gergat came from behind. He even gave Will a head start.
Not good.
I don't like to treat that as a race, just as a punishment.
It's not a race. I'm just trying to get through it. And really, the only thing that makes it a not fun punishment is the balance of chugging and breathing. So I'm really just trying to chug it as fast as I can so I can breathe.
Your eyes are watering.
No. No, that's actually ice bleeding out of the open orifice.
His pores open.
Okay, so again, we hate that, and that should show how incentivized we are to bringing you the victory. So with redemption coming this week, redemption coming this week, Doug just loves commiserating, rooting against the Browns. And truthfully, I hope Doug is the one that doesn't hit this week.
Me too. I would love for DTR to have a good game.
Oh, I want to watch you chug, baby. So DTR, Doug's got DTR passing an interception. I have, on the flip side, Tyler Huntley. I think Miami's passing an interception. I think Denzel Ward's securing one. Or maybe one of the other guys. I don't know. Whatever.
Name them.
I don't know.
Miles.
Miles just from the line catches it. No. All right. And finally, Jaden Daniels. You think he's doing 2 passing touchdowns?
I don't even know anymore. I told you. Like I was going through every game, every bet, and I like to bet overs. I'm always betting for winning things, meaning like the team to do better, like betting passing yards, stuff like that. Because I like action.
Well, and this is
the interceptions always just make me nervous.
Oh yeah,
They
you
just
don't
make
want
me
to root
nervous
for that. You don't want to root for that because there's no guarantees. But this is also a tough game to predict and plan for because there's so many players. Like they're not. There's teams that are not going to be playing with some of their starters simply because they don't need to and they want to save them for the postseason. So you have to and then you said there's other players that are going to get extra time because they have to try to get their contract minimums to get extra bonuses. Yeah. So it's tough to really predict this week. So I'm playing it simple because Doug and I are going to be soaking wet on the lake.
On top of that, too, you also have certain teams that are already out of it that are just shutting down guys for the year. Like CD Lamb for the Dallas Cowboys, they shut him down for the year.
I'm looking at you as we're talking, and I'm just listening to the downpour on the roof, and I'm just like, lovely.
You guys got at least some cover. When you get in there, you
just got to get there. You just got to get from one side of Cleveland to the other side of Cleveland.
Take the Challenger right onto the 50 and walk yourself up.
Pull Snoop Dogg, just drive out of the tunnel.
So again, be sure to jump in on the parlay of the week because that's the fun here. We're bringing cash home for you guys. But guys, thank you for joining us. I hope we brought you some fun and laughter as you prepare for your tinker time and your final stretch in your fantasy league because payouts are coming here soon. So guys, thanks for joining us. We're going to kick off the playoff season here soon. Couldn't be more excited. Otherwise, guys, be sure to catch us here every Sunday, live, noon. Catch you next week.